Hey, what's going on, guys? So if you remember, about a year ago, I started a work in progress kit bashing the HG God Gundam and the HG Blazing Gundam, which was the HG Gundam Breaker battle log kind of variant of the God Gundam. I wanted to take like kind of the best of both kits, or aspects that I liked of both kits, and kind of put them together into a kit bash. Well, after kit bashing them, I set that work in progress aside, and I haven't come back to it, and I've been looking at it and thinking, okay, I better just go ahead and finish that up and paint and get it all painted. And so that's what we're gonna do here in today's video. And I also thought it would be a good opportunity to try out some paints that I've not tried really, which are some E7 paints here. So it's real quick. Basically, I have everything primed. Everything is primed in just a gray surfacer from Mr. Color. There are a couple of parts that are in black, and it's because I'm going to be using gold on them, and I'll get back to that. But one thing that I really wanted to try here from E7 is their Maca color series. There are these series of like pastel colors, which looked really nice. So these are Worm X Toy crossover with E7 color. I'm not really sure like what that is anyway, but they have these really cool pastel colors. So I tried out a couple different color schemes with like some line art of the God Gundam, and tried to see like what might work well with some of these pastel colors. I really wanted to use the teal color, but I don't think it's really going to be a good fit for this particular build. I'll save that for a different build later on. I'm sure I can find something that teal color will look nice on, but I think this purple is going to look really nice for this one. So it's going to be our secondary color. Our primary color, or the main color, is just going to be here in warm white with the Maca color lavender. I believe this is the like secondary color. And then for our accent color, going to have some of this light gray warm. For the frame and joint parts, dark gray warm, so that'll be kind of like the frame and joint stuff, the like alternative accent color, and then our other accent color is going to be this metallic champagne gold. I wanted a gold that was not too yellowish and not too bright. This one's, like, as you can see, a little bit more toned down, a little bit closer to like a white gold kind of color, and that's going to be for a couple of accent parts, basically just for the part for the top of the chest vents, and then the claws on the arms. And so that's why I went ahead and got those with black surfacer, so that I can paint the gold of that. The gold will look a little bit more rich, but like I said, I don't want the gold to look super rich. And also, normally if I was painting with like a white, especially a warm white, and with like a light lavender kind of pastel color like this, normally I would use white surfacer for that. I went ahead and used gray surfacer because I didn't want the colors necessarily to be like at their maximum brightness. So using the gray surfacer will mean that the colors will be not quite as bright as they would be on like a true white. So that's fine. That's the look that I think that I'm gonna go for with this. So yeah, I've not tried these paints before, but basically they look kind of pretty much comparable to like Mr. Color or Gaia paints, which like I typically use. So just gonna use them normally, and then we'll see how it comes out. And before we actually get to painting, this is another important step that I like to do just for me for kits like this, is then separate out the parts based on color. It just kind of helps once I go to paint. I'm not making mistakes by, you know, maybe painting one particular part, you know, with purple first, and then I need to mask and put white, because it's much easier to paint the part white first and mask and then do the purple later. So just to kind of make sure that everything kind of stays organized, and especially for any parts that might need masking or multiple colors, I can make sure to do those all separately. Now, like for all the frame and joint type parts in gray, those don't really matter. Those can just go at any time. The gold parts is just a couple of those can go at any time. The light gray parts is basically just the feet, the midsection, and then there's the little part on the front of the crotch. Those can go. It's mainly just the white parts that are going to need some masking, so I'm going to need to spray all those in white. There's a couple of parts then, like this part here, which is for the backpack. Really only the top and bottom fins are going to be in white, and then the kind of main sections in the center, and then the center part here are also going to be in purple. So I need to spray the white first. I'm gonna have to mask those and then paint the purple parts after that. And because of the way that a lot of the parts are designed, I hadn't really originally thought about this, but a lot of the parts kind of have like two separate parts here like this, which will make it very easy to do like a two-tone RG kind of style color scheme. So I think I'll do that. I'll spray everything in white first, and then I'll add like just a little teeny drop of gray into the white to make it just a little bit more kind of further off white, to give us a two-tone white here for the white parts, since there are going to be quite a lot of them, and we have the color separation, like a lot of color separation is already built into the pieces, so might as well make some two-tone white here for this as well. Alright guys, so I've got everything all ready to top coat, and there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about. First, I'll talk some more about just what it was like using the paint some more in just a moment. But when I got to doing the decals, when I needed to select the decals, I thought it might be interesting to try out some gold decals because I have some from Simp and I just never really have the opportunity to use them. And because I used a little bit of gold on this kit, I thought why not just kind of accentuate that with some gold decals. Now I don't plan on using a gloss top coat though, so once I do, go ahead and add my kind of normal satiny finish flat top coat onto this. I don't know what that's going to do to the gold decals. I know it's going to affect the gold shine of the decals a little bit. I don't know exactly how. So that's why I wanted to show it to you guys first, just so we can kind of see and compare. So if you did wanted to make those decals really nice and shiny gold, I think probably a gloss coat would be the way to go. But generally for this kit, I don't want to use a gloss coat. I want to use kind of my normal Mr. Hobby flat top coat, which is actually sort of satiny. So we'll see how that affects the decals. Also, I'll give you guys a quick sneak peek here at how I ended up painting the open hand for this to make it look like it's kind of glowing there. I think it came out pretty good. Anyway, let me go ahead and go spray that final top coat and then we'll see how it comes out. Alright guys, top coat is on and mounted up onto a standard wood block base. Here is the final product and we'll take a look around this. Just to update on those decals though, I was very pleasantly surprised that the top coat actually somehow made the gold decals I think look even better. Because before, the glossy gold decals were on top of a glossy surface and like they weren't really all that pronounced. And I was actually kind of like okay with that, but now with that top coat on there, the top coat gave me that really nice smooth satin finish that I love about this top coat. And by the way, the top coat that I use here is Mr. Color GX114, super smooth, clear, flat. It's awesome. But yeah, somehow the gold decals still remain in like this really bright, shiny gold and catch the light really nicely against that smooth, flat surface. And I think it came out looking pretty fantastic. So, all right, let's take a look around this thing. I gotta tell you guys, this is another project like the last few. I feel like I keep saying this every time I talk about like a recently completed build in the last couple of them, that I really wasn't sure how it was gonna turn out. I wasn't totally confident in the color scheme when I was painting it, thinking like, I don't know exactly how this is gonna look, if it's gonna look right. And I did do some multi-tone on like the what's white, I'm gonna say white in quotation marks there. It's an off-white, sort of like light gray color, and there's a couple of tones there. It's very subtle though, I think, and unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately, I think once the top coat is on there, it made it even more subtle, because when everything is like glossy, you're getting kind of a little bit more true colors, and the top coat definitely tones down everything, which is usually nice. But if you have really subtle color differences, it's going to be even more subtle. So you guys will probably be able to see the color differences a little bit in like the off-white and slightly more off-white. But I honestly like how pastel this came out. It's pretty much, I guess, what I had in mind, I think, as something to go with. Like I said, I really wanted to try out one of those pastel colors, the Maka series from E7, and I think the color scheme just kind of overall accents quite well the use of that Maka purple color that I have there, so I really like that. And the gold as well. As you guys know, I don't really normally like to use a lot of metallic colors in any of my paint schemes, but I think that gold was a nice color choice. And then yeah, when it came down to the decals, making the kind of brave, so at least for me, maybe not for you guys, or I don't know, maybe it's something that you guys would have thought of, but at least for me, I just was going through my decals, saw those gold ones, and I thought, let's do it. Let's just try it. I don't know how it's gonna look, but I think it ended up working out, so I'm thankful for that. I think it ended up looking pretty cool. I will say probably the hardest part to paint in terms of like just the colors was also just the like javelin, the spear weapon. I repainted that I think 3 or 4 times trying to get a color that I was happy with, and I'm still not 100% sure that I'm really happy with that color, but it is what it is. It's a mix of a couple of different colors. That is the only part that's actually painted with SMS. Everything else is painted with the E7 paints there. The spear is in a couple of different colors from SMS. The handle is just in like a gray, and then the tip at the back and then the tip at the front do have a little bit of metallic paint also mixed in there, although it's going to be, again, very, very subtle to the point that you probably can't even really see that too much at all. But if you're noticing that the ends of that spear do look kind of slightly metallic. It's because they are. It's just not really all that noticeable. It's another thing that I know for sure, that this top coat definitely tones down any like shiny metallics, obviously, with it being a super smooth, flat, clear coat. So if you want to have really shiny metallic colors on your build, you know, don't use that top coat. But as you can see here with this one, with that little bit of metallic on the spear, and obviously much more prominently the metallic gold used on a couple of the accents there, you can still see that it's like shiny metallic. It's just not going to be like super duper shiny metallic-y looking. It's just kind of got that little bit different shine to it, which again, in small doses like this, very small doses for this particular build, for me, I think it looks nice. And on a quick note about the paint, I found the E7 paints to be pretty comfortable to use. They were kind of thick straight out the bottle, and I think it's just because of the transportation process ends up making some of the thinner in the paint, some of the solvent just kind of evaporates out, and that just kind of unfortunately happens when paints are transported overseas. So you may run into that from time to time. And I basically just had to add more thinner than I normally would, just to get it to the right consistency for painting. And then otherwise the paint worked pretty well. One other thing that I'll point out to you guys is that the colors on the lids is not actually like perfectly true. So I was a little bit surprised when painting that the color didn't quite match what the color of the lid is. So like other paints like Mr. Color or Gaia Notes, the lid color, like the cap color, is usually pretty close to what you can expect to actually come out of your airbrush. In this case, it's not quite the case. So maybe make some sample color swatches or color cards or something, paint some spoons just to have a reference of what the colors actually look like, and then just be prepared to maybe add a little bit more thinner than you normally would for some other paints if you need. But otherwise, I was perfectly happy with the results of testing out these E7 paints here. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think more so than just like the color scheme, the decals and all that, just the combination of the parts. I think this could have been painted in so many other different ways, but I think what I'm most happy with is just the combination of the two kits, combining parts from the Blazing Gundam and the original God Gundam. I think I did, to pat myself on the back a little bit more here in this video, I think I did a pretty good job combining those parts to make something kind of interesting, an amalgamation of the two Gundams pretty well, I think. So it came out really nicely. And most importantly of all, it's just nice to be done. So as I've talked about in past videos, sometimes just being done is better than being perfect, and that's certainly the case with this one as well. There's definitely imperfections in there. If you guys look closely, there's certain things that I could have been a little bit more clean about in terms of just like the finish on it. There's certain things that I could have done more in terms of just like, I don't know, painting, detail work on it. I could have spent more time on it. I kind of just wanted to knock this out and have something that I was happy with, and because I want to move on to other things. And I am very happy with how this came out. Could it have been better? Sure. Are there imperfections? Absolutely. But am I happy with it? Yes, definitely. So I really like how this came out. Another thing, I was on the fence about painting the glowing hand. I didn't know if I would really be able to do that well, or kind of how that would look, and I was also kind of on the fence about that. But I'm glad that I did. It's something that, again, is quite subtle, and you can only really see it kind of depending on certain angles, how you're looking at the build, but I think it does make for a nice little accent point. Seeing that little kind of glowing orange there on the hand, I think is kind of good, because it also is a quite contrasting color, because everything else is quite like cool in tone, just with like the off-white and the light purple, the lavender color, and then you have like this bright orange there on the hand. It makes for a nice little visual accent there, I think, on the hand. It looks cool. So anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about the finished product here with this one? I'm just happy to be able to move on. There's like one more work in progress that I want to try to finish up before really focusing in on my GBWC entry for this year. But I'm already kind of working on that as well a little bit on the side. And there's another work in progress that I would like to make a sort of quick work of, just kind of finishing up. There's, to be fair, I have a lot of works in progress kind of all over the place here in my office, but there's one in particular that I want to finish up, just because it's going to be related to the charity live stream event that I'm working on planning as well. But otherwise, yeah, it's just going to be, after that, pretty much all GBWC all the time until that's done. And hopefully I can stick with that. But for now, that's it for this video, guys. If you want to check out some more Gunpla kits, paints, tools, and supplies, if you want to check out the E7 line of paints, you can check them out, and all these model kits at USA Gundam Store. The link is down in the video description below. As always, guys, thank you so much for all of your support. Liking the video, commenting, subscribing is all greatly helpful. I really appreciate it, you guys. Until next time, hope you all have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.